I've got to tell you, if you're not ready to open your heart, open your mind, and open your eyes in a different way, just change the channel. Come back when you're ready for some Mextasy. You know what the biggest hit Hollywood ever produced right at the turn of the century was? It was greaser films. Mexicans as bandits, Mexicans as racists, and all this kind of stuff. That's what it was. We got to do something about that. We really do. If I say the word Mextasy, what comes into your mind?
Mexico and ecstasy?
Mezcal.
Don't have a frickin' clue.
Amor sublime.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Redundancy.
Mexico.
Substantial. Hogar.
Mexicans.
Don't have a clue.
Real.
Orson Welles.
Inspiration.
Big fat guy that got a lot of credit.
Ecstasy.
Love.
Poetry.
Life.
Life.
Motion.
English professor. College professor. I don't even know what that is, or let me be honest, I know too much about what that is. Close your eyes again and picture with me some guy with a pipe and tweed and those leather patches on his shoulders saying things that make you feel stupid. I never wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be another kind of English professor, you know, some combination of, I don't know, Jean-Paul Sartre and Che Guevara. I wanted to change my students' lives by introducing them to stories and films and ideas that maybe they'd never heard before. So that's what I do at San Diego State. I prowl down these hallways, trying to dream up ways to open their eyes to the world that's around them, but that's hidden in really strange ways. I want you to meet Wallace the cat.
I'm the boss. I'm honoring him with my presence here. I like him. I like Nericcio. I like my home here with him. I like his kids. I guess I've gotten used to its presence.
You've got to listen to input from just about everybody, and you've got to take everybody's contribution. So the genius advice that these television producer executives gave me was that I had to go out and do some market demographic research. And so I took it upon myself, you know, to try and scout out in San Diego, there in the borderlands, some sage, gringo, Anglo fountain of intelligence. What I came up with was John Pratt. I'm interested in Mexicans in the United States.
Got the wrong guy.
What's your name?
John Pratt.
Where are you from?
Queens, New York.
Do you have a religion?
My mother wanted me to go hear it and make up my own mind.
Were you smart in high school?
I've never stopped being smart.
People don't know about each other. The easiest thing we do, I think, is, I'm a cynic also, I think hate is always right at hand, or fear, which is next to hate. So Mextasy was my attempt to tell a story about Mexicans in America with pleasure.
Did you write a book with that title?
I wrote a book called Text to Mex. I'm making a television series called Mextasy.
Because I think people that buy that would be not the audience you're trying to affect change with. They would walk right by that.
What would I need to do to appeal to that person that I do want to affect?
Why you hate Mexicans?
Me?
No, title it that.
Why do you hate Mexicans?
He's smart. He's really, really smart, but he's also twisted.
Kick them where they aren't expecting it.
He just turns and tells me, you need to call your book, this show, you know, why do you hate Mexicans? Who's gonna watch Mextasy?
It's not like I have a choice. I have to go to Mexico. It's where it begins. It's the motherland. I've got to go there, now. Tijuana. It's in flux right now. It's in transformation. It's in revolution. The streets are reforming and everything is happening so fast. This blend of cultures, the United States, Mexico, everything happens at the border. The border's exploding and we had to go down there and see what was happening. And we had to talk to Raul Cárdenas.
Well, you have to know that history is an amorphous, it's the living thing. That's why this place can be a laboratory of new stuff to happen. And now, being in a border, in a city like San Diego, you see the same type of practices, the way that you put your phenomenological goggles to see the condition of the border through the eyes of somebody who lives on this side. And just being on the other side of the border is absolutely different. We have gone from the time of protest to the time of proposition. We could see it through music, through visual arts, or art practices, or creative practices, right? So if a new type of music is gonna come out, or a new type of food, or a new type of creative practice is gonna happen, it's gonna have to happen in a place like this.
Mextasy and food, it's about the most sensual thing in the world. If Mextasy is about seeking out all the pleasure zones associated with Latinos and Latina culture, we're not astronomers, we're gastronomers, right? Where do I go?
Right here, right there, whenever you can. The Picuditas, man, is a project that we did. It's not only a thing about molecular urbanism and stuff, it's actually two things. It's a map and a landscape. We have 4 of them. The basic one is called the Asimov, no? And it's carne asada. That's right, dude. So it's carne asada, no? With emulsion of chile cuaresmeño and lemon, avocado, quesillo of Oaxaca, and it's amazing. That's the most basic one. Wow. We Mexicans have a personal relationship with the food that we can touch. Salud.
Salud. I don't know where I'm at. Where have you taken us?
Right here is the transborder farmland, or the farm, la granja, in short. And it's a knowledge farm in which, along with the community, with scientists and artists, we do projects that somehow are not afraid to go beyond the journal or beyond the museum and have an interaction and a real, I don't know, appeal and participation with the persons of the community.
One of the main ideas of the Mextasy project is transformation. The transformation of the living body of the community. The community has a body. It was sick. The dirt was sick. Hasta la tierra was sick. And you're moving in, and you're not healing it like a god. You're working with it. You're working with it, and you're not alone. You're not telling people what to do. It's coming from la comunidad. That's Mextasy.
There is another logic in the aesthetical world, and to put limits to it is stupid. And if there is something to be learned in places full of limits and borders, is that you can always push them and build new territories. And those territories are the Mextasy territories too, no? In which you can find ideas that somehow become the new knowledge, maybe in the future. Most of the projects are that way. And if you're gonna link this condition of building identity, building your patrimony and your heritage and who you are, no? Is this connection that we have with the Mextasy, right?
Absolutely.
These laboratories are places that technically can connect you to any other place in the world. Because like we talked before, it's a locality. And globalism happened here before the term was coined.
Right.
And being so young, well, we're more connected to Philip K. Dick, no,
Yeah.
than to Pancho Villa.
We're participating in a unique cultural intervention that is displacing every negative idea one might have about this particular space in Mexico. There's something growing here that's going to change this little space that couldn't. But this is a space that can. This is a place and a space of Mextasy.
I cannot put the suit by myself. This is something that is a shared effort. Not only with my team, not only with the science and the other artists, but especially with the neighbors. Now, the same ones who were the ones who planted here, like Sammy, who planted this right here.
It's a beautiful thing, you know. The thing about Mextasy is it is about beauty. It's about the future. It's not about the past. The past, I call it the Tex-Mex. It's the ball of ugly stereotypes and associations people have with Chicanos, Mexican Americans, and Mexico. In this green, in this future, and in La Granja, I see the hope of Mextasy.
Thank you for coming and sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me into this beautiful world. The children, the plants, and you. We're driving towards the border. And so I feel a lot of emotions going towards the border. Love, fear, a lot of love. It's the weirdest thing in the world that in the dark we see things. It's when we can't see that we discover the mysterious. And we're going to be spending a lot of time out in the dark. We're going to be in clubs. We're going to be in secret places, back alleys, because to understand the space between the United States and Mexico, we've got to look at places that don't get seen, the places that are always in the dark. So we're going to be in the dark, out of the dark, coming into the light. When hip-hop comes back to the United States from America Latina, from Las Americas, it moves with a different beat. Where all too often hip-hop in the United States is dominated by sexist machismo, Ana Tijoux' music is definitely feminine, definitely powerful, utterly sexual, and with the force of a freight train. Ana Tijoux' music is as strong as her convictions, and if you listen closely, you can hear the future beat of hip-hop with a Latino accent. Ana Tijoux is Chilean, but she's also French. And the reason there's that mixture is because of the United States. It was a little altercation at the beginning of the 1970s. A certain president, Nixon, you may have heard of him, he's just from up the coast here at San Clemente, and his buddy, Henry Kissinger, well, they went to town on a country called Chile, and they kicked out a democratically elected socialist, that's a commie, head of state, Salvador Allende, and they replaced him with one of our friends, a guy by the name of Pinochet. Real bad guy, real bad for Chile. Anyway, the short story is that Ana Tijoux ends up growing up in France, but now she's back in the United States, back in Latin America, and we're here between both lands, Latin America and the United States, to hear her music. I'm a professor at San Diego State University. I give assignments, but for tonight, I was given an assignment. Yeah, my executive producer made me do homework on Ana Tijoux, and I did my homework. I went to town. Look at this right here. Eduardo Galeano, yeah, Galeano, the incredible Uruguayan writer who inspired Ana Tijoux to write. There's all kinds of things here. Look at this mess. I got Ana, she's great. This book changed my life. Eduardo Galeano, Century of the Wind, the most important novel in the 20th century next to Cien Años de Soledad. What is music?
Well, that's a good question. Music is freedom. Music is this amazing place where I think for me at least, como prejudice, como you go with the flow, como it's the perfect moment of catharsis and dialogue with the other people and share with my colleagues on stage, because I'm not alone. I've got a team that come with me. But it's like this magic moment of where you connect with something that is, I can't even explain it. It's between something, I'm not creyente, but almost something spiritual, political, and that makes sense, and communicate, and to meet amazing people also, and learn so much about this. And what I love about this work called music is to see it as a long term. You know, there is so many amazing musicians that I love, and they are old. And so I love this travel in music, and to become old and old and older, and your body will fall down, and I will have white hair, and so the music will be with the same clock of time.
So I wonder if you could talk about the connection between politics and your music.
It's super connected. Like I can make a difference. I always say this, like people is very afraid in general of the words politic, you know, like almost like it was a disease, you know. Sí, miedo. But I think is what some powerful people want about us, to be afraid about that word. Because at the end, all the relationship that has been establecidas has been with politics. Even like human being and with relationship between friends are political. Is the first social politic that you can have with your parents, whatever. So I think it's always very interesting, like in that sense, como to have a vision with the world and understanding the political situation. You understand also like your community, your relation with your parents, the relation with the society, the Lord. You understand a lot of architecture of the society, you know? So I think that also if you want to change something, we get to understand about also where they come from, and to be more to have more information than them in some way. So I can make a difference between what I do, because that also pushed me.
I was listening to 1977, right? And I was reading the lyrics in Spanish, and I was reading them in English, because I'm a little pocho. You know, I wanted to make sure that I understood it. And it struck me that was a very intimate song, a very personal song. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about 1977.
I mean, it's like those kind of songs that I made like almost playing, you know. It's a song that I was, yes, it was a biographic without wanting, perhaps. And I don't know if the result really, I really made it in the result of it, but my idea was to make like a resume about some stuff that was important for me, and that perhaps at that moment I didn't understand about the kind of education that I got. And when I become older, I say, wow, like that was really interesting the way that my parents raised me, you know. So I write, even like I write como 77 because when I was young, I don't know, 8, 7 years old, as any young kid, I won a Monopoly, for example. And my father said, oh, okay. And so one day, a present was in the table, and I said, oh wow, a Monopoly. And I opened the box, and no, it was not a Monopoly, it was in the game which name is Anti-Monopoly. And so I bring the game at school, and this game you got to play, and you got to be free the people in jail, share the property, whatever. It's the total opposite of the game. So of course nobody wanted to play with me. But at the end, like I come back so almost crying at home, like, oh, nobody wants to play. But I think this poetry in kind of education I got my father. So I wanted to make a song about that, but I don't know if I really accomplished what I want. I'm not sure about it, but that's the idea of why I wanted to make the song, really, more than una biografía, no?
Ana Tijoux blew our minds, and she taught us once again the most important thing about culture. It's not about entertainment, it's not about escapism, it's about being part of where you're from. The story of Mextasy isn't about Mexico and the United States. It's about storytelling. It's not even really about film, and it's not just about Mexico. It's about Egypt, it's about Russia, it's about Spain, it's about all these different countries, right? You know what I'm talking about. All these places where people tell stories. Historias, literatura, cine change people's perspectives. That's too weak. it changes their lives. This is like Borges meets Orson Welles, right? The librarian, the blind librarian meets the master of cinema. This place is a labyrinth of cinematic history, and it's going away, and it's destroying me. Can you feel it? Can you hear it? Can you smell it? It's just the technology's changing. But when the technology changes, everything changes. This vault, this cathedral of cinema is going to disappear. Here's a movie I've never seen. Such a great film, Mextasy. It's the best thing I've ever rented here.
Where's the case?
Oh, I lost it. Is that going to be a problem?
It'll cost you $1.
Okay, well,
When I'm not a professor, I'm a writer, and so I hate cliches. They're like puns. They're just like low-hanging fruit. But sometimes you have to use them to tell a good story. We were out and about in Los Angeles, the city of angels, and we ran into an angel there on the corner, homeless, just out of an operation, but with a spirit and a vision, like some sort of street Dumbledore. Some like Melquiades from 100 Years of Solitude. His name was Nathaniel, and we had to check him out.
The people are so poor there, they want to come here to make money. So at the same time, people are trying to go there. You know what I mean?
I know it. I know what I mean. There's so many of us in so many different places. And the thing about it is we all want to move. Like we're always moving, right? Like humans, we migrate.
Right.
I mean, you got wheels, you want to migrate so much.
I want to walk. I want an all-star rock band.
I'm just going to do 2 chords.
All right. Yeah. Teenage Cocaine Fiends now become our favorite song on the Hollywood jukebox record machine. Teenage cocaine, doctor, have you heard the news?
You're a mix of peoples. I hope you feel much better, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for your time.
Hollywood. I'm here in Hollywood. What's brought me to this place? All the stars, all the dreams, all the associations, and everyone's imagination. This heart of the entertainment industry of the planet. Hollywood. I'm here in Hollywood, and Hollywood and Vine, Capitol Records, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I'm here because I had to touch the pulse and the soul of the living body of this monster, this animal that gave us so many dreams, so many nightmares. And I'm here with Heidi Flores, the lead singer of Los Hollywood. Heidi is Mextasy. Los Hollywood is Mextasy, this blend of the United States, of Mexico, of Latino and Anglo cultures that come together here in the border. Los Hollywood in Hollywood. It's perfect. It's a dream.
So we're here filming Mextasy, and I'm with Heidi Flores from Los Hollywood and Hollywood. Oh my God, it was like you were possessed. Where does it come from, this voice, this, I don't know, this soul?
No sé, yo creo que la música se siente. Si estoy cantando una canción de Los Hollywood o un cover, no importa. Sí.
Wow.
Una estrella sin nombre.
Oh, one last blank. For all the unnamed Mexicans that changed the entertainment industry in the United States, we salute you.
What do you say when you're gonna go hang out with rock and roll royalty? We're talking like the Kurt Cobain, the Nirvana of Mexico. But we don't have to go to the Eje, to Mexico City, because this guy, he's a Mexican expat living in the middle of Los Angeles. His name is Sergio Arau. Like Anita Tijoux, Arau's music is political, in-your-face political. There's no walking away from it. But the music, the sound of the music is rock and roll.
México está condenado o podría ser bendecido. Es el vecino de junto, ni modo, que puede ser una maravilla o una cosa espantosa, depende de quién lo vea.
A new renaissance of arts that are from the border, beyond the border, in the border, on the border. Sergio Rao is el futuro de rock and roll and a beautiful world of cinema and art.
I don't know, they're looking for the sombrero and the burro, as if the show is only about Mexican culture. But Mextasy is about Latinos and Latinas and the arts. It's about the amazing inventions that come from their minds and the people that make them. But it's also about the entertainment industry. And that's why we're spending so much time here in Hollywood. Of course, we have to come to the Hollywood sign. We have to see that semiotic wonder everywhere you look. Hollywood, Hollywood, that sign. You drive through LA, you see the sign. It is the sign, it is the marker. It's the entertainment industry. And we come here to speak to someone who knows a little bit about entertainment. Leon Krause.
I'll give her the email. Okay. No, I won't. Come on.
I want to talk to you about being a documented alien in in la tierra de los Estados Unidos, but you have a unique role because you're also a kind of icon of Mexicanicity aquí en los Estados Unidos.
I have a passionate devotion to truth. Or to objective truth as far as we can get closer to it, ¿no? I mean, no es tan fácil acercarse a la verdad objetiva, pero un periodista tiene esa obligación. In TV, people always tell you, hey, I saw you on TV. Oh, you look taller in person. TV is cruel.
Yeah, I know.
Did I do it?
You did it. You got it.
Did I kill that damn fly?
It is a gnat.
That's Mexico City. That's Mexico City talent, you see?
Wow.
I think he moved on to you.
No,
He's now scared of me.
No, it's a stage.
He can't take a joke. Okay. When something funny happens, even if it's inappropriate, I laugh, and that goes against what you're supposed to do on TV. I've always been in love with this country. American politics have been my biggest passion forever. I mean, I think the Republican Party is still in denial. I think that eventually they will realize, I don't know if they will realize it now, or in 2016, or maybe 4 years from now, but they will get tired of losing. And then they will come around and they will support immigration reform. Unfortunately, I think it's not happening yet, but it will. I'm hopeful. It's difficult to assimilate to a country when your country is right next door. It's different to assimilate when your country is an ocean away. But here the country is there, right, just behind the hill. But there is a very peculiar, wonderful, virtuous assimilation process going on. I see it in, for example, the young millennials, the Latino millennials, no, that go back and forth between Spanish and English.
So what's the future for Mexicans in America in television?
I think it's a very, very, very bright future in every sense. For me, as a journalist, as a news anchor, to be here in this particular moment in time is a dream come true, because I think that I arrived in the precise moment when history is being made.
Man, that gets enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. And now we're gonna throw ourselves off a cliff.
The book, with all the best dirty jokes are in the footnotes.
No, I love dirty
jokes.
jokes.
The nastiest ones are in Latin.
Oh,
to hide them.
Fantastic. So, those Romans.
To make the priests laugh. It took me 16 years to write this book. It's changed my life. It's a piece of me. It's a piece of my heart. It's got tortillas. So it's Mexican. You can't believe it. We're here in Hollywood and Vine with the sirens, with the madness, with the homeless. But we had to come here. We just had to come here because it's the Vatican, for the place that tells the story of Mexicans in America. Where did you meet your Mexicans? You met them on TV, you met them in the movies, you met them in billboards, you met them on television. You think you know these Mexicans. They're not there, they're not real, they're constructions. It's all fake. I'm talking into a camera. You could see them if you look. You could see them. Look at that, we're almost running into the street. We're getting in trouble because it's all a construction. It's all fake. There's a boom microphone you can't see. It's all not real. People are falling behind me. This is Hollywood, the city of dreams.
Were you watching the beginning of the show? Over the credits, we tried to recreate Orson Welles' 1958 classic, Touch of Evil. It was the film from Hollywood, the best that's ever been made about the U.S.-Mexican border. And so as a tip of the hat to Orson Welles, Charlton Heston and Janet Leigh, we recreated it. We recreated it, but in Tijuana. We filmed it in Mexico. Touch of Evil had been filmed in the United States in Venice Beach, and we wanted to show, I don't know, for Mextasy, a different kind of touch of evil. I don't know, call it a touch of the future, a touch of tomorrow. That's what Mextasy's about. So we did it. Here's to you, Orson Welles. The journey of Mextasy is a journey into the bowels of filmmaking. And it brings us to USC, the University of Southern California. USC is the home of a lot of influential departments, but their film department is one of the most influential on the planet. No other than Star Wars' George Lucas has put his imprimatur on the school. And so we're walking here at USC, but we're not going to go to the film department. We're going to head over to one of the dorms and spend some time with Oliver Mayer, a Chicano playwright who grew up a little ways from here in Studio City. Oliver Mayer's claim to fame is that he is a playwright, and not just a playwright. He's one of America's most influential playwrights, with productions worldwide, debuts in New York City and Los Angeles and Mexico City. His most famous play is Blade of the Heat. It's about a boxer named Pedro Quinn, who's a little like Oliver. He's biracial, he's mixed-blooded, he's a mutt, he's Irish, he's Mexican, and he might even be gay, or bisexual, or asexual. All we know in Blade of the Heat is that Pedro Quinn loves his dog. So we're here at USC to find out about storytelling, about playwriting, on our journey called Mextasy.
When Blade of the Heat booms out into the world, Time Magazine's doing stories on your premiere, you're at the PAP, the Public Theater, you're at the Mark Taper, you're in Mexico City, and then Madonna calls. I wonder if you could tell us that story.
She came on opening night in New York, and I was pretty nervous. I was actually more nervous because the fighter who I based the play on, Emil Griffith, was in the audience too. So I didn't think a lot about Madonna that night. Well, maybe 3-6 months go by and I get a call and she says, "It's M." That's the way she would always talk to me, "It's M." And so I went and I met her, and then somebody wrote something at the time. She said, you know, they said, what's hot is to have your work bought or optioned by Madonna. What's not is to have slept with her. 20 years later, I wish I had both. I can tell you, I only got one. I didn't get the other. Let me tell you something funny though in the theater these days, is that I think Spanish is finding its way onto the American stage and eventually onto television too, thanks to some of the writers of this generation, because those Spanish words are not translatable. Those Spanish words, if they are translated,
They don't have the same weight.
No, so you have to use the actual Spanish, and we're growing the language, probably in ways we haven't grown since Shakespearean times. We're letting Spanish in, and now Spanglish is used all over. Now, I will let you in on something. When you watch Breaking Bad or some show when, you know, they got the gang guys and they have to talk in Spanish, it's almost never written down the way that they speak it. What they'll do is they'll write in English, they'll put in little brackets, they'll say in Spanish, and they'll write a big chunk in English, and then they give it to the actor, and the actor has to translate it. If you ask me, the actor deserves a writing credit. I think there's something really wrong with that, but I also think we're letting Spanish in to the theater and onto film. Subterranean, the way we do it in this country, through slavery, through various kinds of bullshit, but we let in the truth, which is that this is a beautiful language and a really, really important way to make ourselves clearer. To have both, because English is great too.
Do you know how smart this guy is? Can you even imagine who Oliver Mayer is? Oliver Mayer is probably one of the 5 top playwrights in the United States of America. He's from another world, another time. And the stories he tells are going to rewrite the history of the United States. Mextasy. Gracias.
You never know who you're gonna meet at Venice Beach. The characters, the strangers, the freaks. It's like one giant island of mad humanity. We're at the end of the earth, the end of the West. Manifest destiny, baby. Venice Beach. What else to say about Los Angeles? Some postscript to paradise. We come to the Santa Monica Pier, and I've got a date. I've got a really hot date with two people. A couple, actually. Kind of kinky. I'm with Mauricio Ockman and Aislinn Derbez, two huge telenovela stars from Mexico who are now trying to make their mark, doing auditions in Hollywood. What brings them to the United States? Is it worth the risk, all this, for the glamour of Hollywood? We need to find out.
We're here making this documentary and something's happened that hasn't happened in 4 days. We're walking down this pier and it's like you are human magnets. Humans are coming up to you and they want to take their pictures with you. What is this phenomena?
She's a very well-known actress from Mexico, my girlfriend. And I'm Mauricio Ockman, also a Mexican actor.
What is it like now to be trying a second time to establish fame, celebrity, which means access to more roles, better roles in Hollywood today? What's it like day to day for you guys?
Ha sido bastante complicado, sobre todo porque llegas aquí a Estados Unidos y es empezar 100% de cero. Es una competencia impresionante y pues sí la tenemos muy complicada.
Son las Olimpiadas de la actuación.
A él, por ejemplo, le dicen que no se ve mexicano. A mí también me dicen que no me veo tan mexicana o tan latina. Entonces es como muy difícil porque o quieren al estereotipo perfecto latino-mexicano si hablas español y si no, quieren que hables perfecto inglés y que no se te note ningún tipo de acento. No nos tratan como personas, lo ven como... De hecho, fuimos a una clase de actuación y nos dicen, you are like shoes. Son como zapatos y ellos van a decidir cuáles le quedan a la serie que están casteando o a la película.
Como un producto.
Como un producto.
La magia ocurre cuando estás fuera de tu zona de confort. Caminemos tantito, ya empiezas a ver que hay otra persona ahí y de repente sucede algo.
I was gonna kiss him. That was gonna be my exercise.
Are you running the stupid camera? No. I have a stereotype about actors. They were brilliant, and they weren't just brilliant, they were passionate, they were lovely. We are not Hispanics, we are Mexicanos. And in the moment of Mextasy, that is what we become.
I make reeds quiver and the tenor sax sing.
The soul unfold in someone who takes a chance at telling a story to move you. Mextasy, it's not gonna get you sick, it's gonna make you high. Mextasy is like street art, theater, film, literature, storytelling. We need to give stars to the Mexicanos and the Latinos coming out of the shadows that are changing the world, the intellectual world, the entertainment world, with their stories and with their magic.
Gracias.
Los Hollywood, I want to give you your own Hollywood Walk of Fame Loteria star because you're the biggest stars of Mextasy. I love it. Yeah. I want to honor you both with our Loteria star. You've earned a star. You know, and in Mexico, if you do well in an exam, they put it. So if you don't mind, we're gonna give you the star. Yeah, you gotta put the babas.
Woo! There's not enough time to tell all the stories of Mextasy. Not in one episode of a television show. What have we seen? Who have we met? Well, you saw them. You hung out with them. They're people who have making a mark in all of their different fields, all of their different areas. And there's not one thing that makes them Mexican or Latino or Latina. And I think that's the first discovery of the show, that Mextasy isn't going to be about a search for one idea. It's going to be a wandering adventure. Who we see and who we meet is going to depend on fate, on the stars, and on you.
This is Mextasy.